Papercut. Hey everyone, Papercut here with a build order guide. I haven't done a lot of these before, but my plan is to start doing these either over unique build orders or going over kind of known build orders and explaining why they do it this way, what's the thought process behind it, and then how do you think off of it, which a lot of build order videos do include, but I want to add a little bit more granular detail for people who are trying to learn the game or using build orders as a stepping stone, which is very appropriate. I was playing ladder the other day and ran into him back. For those who are in Diamond or Conquer, you've probably played against him. He is a Delhi main. He's very good with Delhi. He does a lot of interesting things with Delhi. And a couple times I've played against him, he's done the Spearmen rush against me that really throws me off. And honestly, it should have beat me the last time we played, but I got a little lucky with some food placement in some villager and YOLOing some villagers. But I thought it'd be interesting to show you this build order. I'm going to both show it against AI and then show a game I did as an example to see it in action, how I adjusted in the moment. I watched a few of the box replays and refined it a little bit, so it's different than how he does it. He does it a lot more aggressively. I've kind of toned it down to have it be a little bit more offensive, but not kind of going all in as he does. So with that, let's hop in and go through this Delhi Dark Age Spearman Rush. Before I do, let's talk when you'd use it. I think it'd be useful to do on the smaller maps like Pit, where you can get to the opposite side very quickly. I also think that it's useful against civs who Delhi kind of sometimes struggles against, such as China or HRE, or basically any civ that you kind of want to throw off balance and slow down. IUBID would be a good example, in my opinion, where potentially towering that first goal, pushing them off of it, and making them have to react will give you the kind of edge that you want. And out of this opening, you can either go into the normal feudal all-in, you could do a fast castle, and we'll kind of go more into when I think you should do those things when we get to the feudal section. So let's go ahead and hop in. So I'm going to keep it on my viewpoint here instead of doing caster view. You're going to open up by sending 5 vills to wood. And you're going to have one vill build a barracks and a house. You're going to queue up vills and have them go onto the sheep. And you're going to send your scout for it. Now, the scout needs to dive to the opponent's base because you need to try to find where their gold is so you know where to send your spearmen. You're going to make only 2 spearmen. So you're going to have this drop off here, and then all the vills that just got wood are going to go straight to sheep. And then the next vill that comes out TC should go on a tree. They should go on this tree by themselves. So I'm looking for the gold. I see the gold is right here, bottom right. So I'm good. So now I'm going to go get sheep. I'm going to send my scout on this side and get sheep. The vill has popped out and has gotten onto wood. And I'm queuing up my first spearman. I'm now rallying to food. The villager that built the barracks in the house is now coming over to my TC as well to be on food. Once the second spearman is queued, so this one I'm queuing the second spearman. Once the second spearman is queued, I'm then pulling off of food. I'm putting sure I have 5 on wood, as you see here. Now, why did I do that? The reason being is 2 spearmen is enough, in my opinion, to pressure someone off gold and make them decide to stay off of gold. Now, some people might try to micro you and have more villagers come out and try to fight the spearmen, and if they pull a lot of vills to attack your spearmen, just run away. That's idle time. That's time that their villagers are not gathering that yours are, so that's good for you. If it's like 5 or 6 villagers, your spearmen could potentially lose to that. So just don't feel like you have to be fighting the whole time. If you're making him chase you with their vills, that's damage as well. But 2 vills is generally, in my opinion, enough to come here, hold the gold, and then build a tower. If you ever, when I watched him back play, he would often do 3, 4, 5, 6 spearmen, and just be super aggressive and try to cover the golds. And you can do that if you truly are good at macro and balancing as things go. But I'm trying to set this up in a way that some, you know, my pals in bronze, silver, gold, plat can run this build order successfully while still adjusting as need be. So now you don't have to do the tower. If you don't want to just do the tower, that's fine. But with the tower, you have a lot of things as Delhi that you need to make wood. You need to make a tower. You need to get another house. You need to get a mill to be on berries. You need to get a mine. And you need to get a mosque and a lumber camp. So that's 50, 100, 200, 300 wood, which you have enough on the straggler trees, but that is a lot of wood. So you want to send 5 on wood at this point, and they're just going to gather all the wood that you need. And while that's happening, you're rallying to food, and your barracks is done. Now, if you feel like you need more spearmen, you can add more spearmen, but 2 is the minimum that you need. At this point, I'm gathering, and when I get close to 100 wood, I'm going to send one of my food villagers forward to tower. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. There's the second spearman. For some reason, animated AI made 2 scouts, which is kind of silly. Scouts coming down here on the opposite side, getting sheep. Boom, 100 wood. And now that villager is exiting to go tower the gold. In this case, I'll get gold and stone, which is cool. My spearmen are coming here. It's really, really key that when the spearmen are attacking, you're not letting the spearmen follow the villagers in and die under TC. That'd be really, really bad. You want to basically poke them off and then immediately have your your spearmen attack the mining camp so they don't accidentally wander off. And then whenever you have a free moment, you can come back and check. Maybe they try to repair the mining camp. You could kill it with you could attack with a spearman. Maybe they're trying to sneak gold, have your spearmen attack. But make sure your spearmen don't chase in and die. That's really, really bad. So villager's going to come up and drop the tower. I still have 5 on wood. And I am just gathering food. Now, why did I do basically the gather and then only 1 on wood? I wanted 1 on wood because that gives me a slow wood trickle, and also means that if I wanted to add more spearmen, it was feasible. And then once the 2 spearmen were made, I needed all those villagers on food to afford spearmen and villagers. Once I had my 2 spearmen, all I needed was 4 villagers to make food, so that's why I pushed 5 villagers onto wood to make sure I can get the wood gathered. So the second I have the wood for mill, I'm sending all my food villagers onto mill. The berry gathering is a lot better, and I want to start my research. Boom. Now I'm going to start wheelbarrow and survival techniques. My next drop off here, I will then add a mosque, which I'm going to make sure is next to the mill, and then hopefully can shade wood so I can get the lumber mill under that as well. Towers being dropped. I'm not concerned about stopping him from getting gold elsewhere. That would require more spearmen, another investment. They're probably going to drop a tower to be safe anyway, which is an initial investment by them. The damage you wanted to do is done. And oftentimes building a tower near their initial gold, your opponent will feel like they can't do anything until that tower is dead. It's a big mental block in a way. So now I got the moss dropped. I'm going to gather 1 more 50. I just dropped a house as well, or the mining camp, and then I need 1 more drop off to get a house, and then I would do 1 more round to get enough for the lumber mill, and then I drop a lumber mill, and then we'd be good to go. Tower's dropped. I'm going to put my spear in the tower and bring my villager back because I don't want to do any more towers. I even see him sneaking off the gold down here. I could have pulled my spearman and tried to catch that. But honestly, it's like, it's not the most important thing in the world. They are delayed. There's also something I can attack later with different units. If I'd seen that, I might have pulled my spearman, but I missed it in the moment. Now I'm on gold. I'm going to rally to gold. I'm going to pull my villagers off wood and send them to gold. I'm going to have 3 on gold. I'm going to keep on wood here so I can get a lumber mill. And honestly, at this point, you can keep 10 to 11 on food, 3 to 4 on gold, and then you're rallying to wood so that when you're aging up, you can drop production and immediately start making units. I'm going to speed it up here. Now, the one unique thing about this build that I would suggest you do is actually go, I'm going to ignore what the AI is doing because it's silly, is I think you can go Dome of the Faith here for a lot of reasons. One, you're kind of behind on the research you want to do because of how delayed your mosque was dropped, and going Dome of the Faith allows you to build cheaper scholars, which then speeds up your research. Another thing is Dome of the Faith is great if you're trying to castle rush. So one thing you can do is if you've towered the gold and your opponent's feeling pressured and they're not able to get gold maybe, or they're behind, you could really set up a nice tower rush here by staying on gold, getting a bunch of scholars, and then sending them out to cap all 3 sacred sites at once they get the sacred site capture research, sanctity researched. Your opponent will probably not be able to decap all of them. They'll pick like 1 or 2. You can get the gold from the mining camp and gold from sacred sites, rush castle, and then try to have a timing where you do mass men at arms or mass knights by rushing castle. One thing you can do then as well is make like one stable and make a few Ghazis and raid to make them feel like they can't leave their base. And with 2 or 3 Ghazis, you then rush onto the sacred sites, grab them, and then rush castle. You also can play it feudal, and by doing the Dome of the Faith, you can then get more scholars to put in production buildings and just do way more units. They won't be as good because you don't have the Tower of Victory, but that's a trade-off you're doing. No, you could also just do Tower of Victory and play at normal Delhi, but I think there's a real opportunity here. When you push them on the back foot here, they often get super defensive. They make a lot of units, and that's a chance for you to try to rush castle. And Dome of the Faith allows you to get scholars cheaply, so you can get gold, slow rush castle, sneak some sacred sites, and try to do that. But that's a call you have to make. If you feel like your opponent is really off the back foot, then you could rush castle. Especially if you have a setup where like maybe your tower is covering gold and the next 2 golds are behind that, and they literally have no gold. Then rushing castle is a great option. I'm gonna age it with 6 because all I need is 4 on food to keep making villagers. I'm gonna rush my age with Dome of the Faith. I have 10 on wood at this point, and I could this is me trying to decide, am I gonna go all in or not? So 10 on wood allows me to drop multiple archer ranges or stables or blacksmiths. But at any point I could just pull most of my villagers off wood, drop a tower on berries and go on berries and really get food quickly. Like the amount of food you can get from berries as Delhi is crazy. So you could just rush onto berries, pull a bunch, and then if the opponent shows up, you go back to the sheep under TC, you tower gold, and you just rush castle. And then, once again, with efficient production, you could do knights or men at arms and mass them very, very quickly. Do 1 round of stone gathering to upgrade this outpost. Basically, the villagers that aged up the Dome of the Faith, I had them do a round of stone gathering to be able to upgrade this tower. And then once it's upgraded, you can leave the spearmen in there, you can bring them back. And yeah, that's the opening build order. 2 spearmen into a tower, into getting your mosque, mill, rushing up the Dome of the Faith, and then you have a decision to make. You could be gathering food as you're aging up in gold and rushing castle. You could use the cheaper scholars to then get onto the sacred sites and rush castle, or you could play this very normally. My read is, how much did you disrupt your opponent? Is your opponent really struggling to get gold? Are they very behind in their age up? Do you see them only making spearmen and archers and they're not going into horsemen to raid? Then you have this nice opening to rush castle. Just make sure you're scouting. How defensive are they playing? Are they trying to be aggressive? If they are recovering nicely, if they're able to rush to a gold lane, they seem fine, then play a normal feudal. But I think even going Dome of the Faith there is still viable to, 1, get your research up even faster, your eco and your military tech research even faster. 2, to be able to grab all 3 sacred sites and not feel like at the same time. And lastly, the more scholars you have, the more they can heal your army in feudal. And then if you can rush castle, you might be able to grab almost every relic right when you hit castle. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And if you're a Delhi player looking for a different way to play the game, I think this is an interesting opening to do. Now I'm going to show you me playing this against a member of my coaching Discord, Norseland. So shout out to them for letting me do this as an example. So let's see it in action. All right, so here's my game against Norseland. I did Pit just to match the example I gave, and Norseland is doing Order the Dragon. So let's see how it plays out. I'm going to play this a little faster than normal, but I also want to really explain the decisions I made and why I made them in the moment. So I'm going to do my barracks opening into a house, drop off, on to sheep. They're gathering. I'm not over queuing villagers, so I have the food to then get a spearman, pop spearman. I notice the gold's in the back, which is fine, because once again, the pit's small. Pit's a perfect map to do this opening on. Dry Arabia would be another map you could really do this on. Gorge, Cliffside. Gorge and Cliffside would also be great small maps to do this on. Dry Arabia's a little big, but Gorge and Pit and Cliffside for sure, this is very viable. Made my 2 spearmen crossing. I've now split 5 onto wood, 5 onto food. I send my food villager forward to tower. I'm just rallying to food. You might have to, you notice how my villagers popped out? I don't have enough food, so you might have to force drop off a couple times to make sure you can consistently make villagers. I'm getting sheep with my scout. I attack. Now, Norseland here has an option, especially with Order of the Dragon chunky vills, to try to fight me off this. And if they pulled a bunch of vills, they honestly could probably fight my spearmen. And my plan was, once again, if they pulled a bunch of Order of the Dragon chunky villagers to fight me, I just run away. And that's a huge eco idol for them to do that. Even if they rushed up a tower here, I could tower the outside. If they rush up a tower here, then that's, once again, investment I made them do, and I can not do the tower and just walk back. But I did notice they open farm, so I knew they did not have the wood to make a tower. But as you can see with the eco, I'm actually stopping them before they could age up here, and they're still having to try to get the gold to age up. And this is just so much idle time for them. On the background here, I have done my 5 on wood. I've gotten my mill. I'm going to start my upgrades. And I'm just rallying to berries. But I really want to show this interplay here so you can see an example of it. And they didn't quite get enough gold. So I'm on the mining camp, burning it down. I'm dropping the tower. They have to make a decision. They have this gold right here, but they're pretty scared of the spearmen. But here's an example of what I mean. Gold, gold, gold. All in a line here. No easy gold from the grab. They're going to go center. But they know my spearmen are right here. And what if I made more spearmen? So there's a lot of unknowns here, which is delaying their age up. This actually been a perfect chance for me to go castle. At the same time, though, knowing that their gold is so exposed in the front, you're going to see that I just can't help myself, and I'm going to go feudal a little bit here with a twist. Get down the moss, start up the production, drop the house. We're about to get 5, so now I'm going on to mining camp. I put 3 on the mining camp, and this is perfect. I actually did this better than I did in the practice when I showed you guys. Where I now have 8 on food, I have 3 on gold, which is like a normal opening. So I'm just going to keep rallying to food. I have my 3 on gold. I'm going to keep 2 on wood, just so I can get a little bit of wood to start, bringing my villager back, burning down the mining camp. I'm just going to situate them in the outpost. Once I get 50, I'm going to build the lumber mill up here. We're going to be good to go. It's nice, once again, about this is that my lumber mill is going to be right in the influence here, so the research speed's going to be increased. Downside of this build is for sure the fact that you're getting your techs late and you're aging up later. But you're hopefully trying to balance that by pushing them off balance. So I see they're still not on gold. So they are aging up, so they did go and do like 1 round of gold gather to age up. And I see that they're opening barracks as well, so they're going to make spearmen. I arched them with a faith of 6. I now have 5 on food. I could have done 4 on food and more on wood. I'm just rallying to wood. I'm keeping 3 on gold to make scholars. You could do 2 on gold and still make scholars regularly. I wanted 3 just to really make sure I'm consistently making scholars. And getting a little bit of extra gold if I really wanted to rush castle. I see the first spearman out, so I know if I open archers, I should be good to go. Here come the spearmen, 2 spearmen. That's a pretty big investment for Order of the Dragon. It's pretty expensive, so I know they're still adding farms. So I age up. I immediately queue up. I'm queuing up scholars in the Dome of the Faith and locking them in there. So it's key that you have assigned scholar directly, which just puts them directly in the Dome of the Faith. You're going to try to get all 5 in there, which leaves your mosque open to immediately add sanctity and the other techs. You're then going to queue up all your techs for your others. I had 5 villagers from food go grab stone because I had so much extra food. I could pull them off for 1 round of stone gathering to upgrade the tower. I'm sending all my villagers from the age up back on food. I'm getting an archery range, and honestly at this point, with how far behind they are, I could have just gone on berries, and try to just really rush castle here. But I thought, you know, I have 3 of their gold separated. Their only gold available to them is right here, so why not try to push them off this gold? I'm checking. I see they just walked out to this gold. So I have a chance here to kind of do a push here. I pop a scholar into the archery range. I'm just putting more scholars in the Dome of the Faith. I'm getting down a blacksmith. This blacksmith is going to be able to research really fast as I add more and more scholars. Each scholar is going to tick down the research speed. For example, siege engineering is a minute 33 with 1 scholar in. Second scholar pops in. Boom. It's now a minute 23. And I'm just going to keep adding scholars, keep reducing my research time. Upgrade my spearmen. Now I'm just adding archers because all I've seen is spearmen. I say the tower, jump in the mine. That's 5 villas on gold. And honestly, I'm kind of worried that they're going to try to rush castle. In my mind, I see it. They have a lot on food. They have a lot on gold. 5 on gold for OTD is a lot. So to me, I'm like, they're rushing castle. If I push right now, I might catch them in a castle age timing. So I decided not to rush castle myself because I feel like I'm catching them trying to rush castle was the thought process in my mind. One thing I could have done was added a second blacksmith pretty early. But I'm really focused on making archers. I do siege engineering first so I can knock down the tower and push them off gold. Scouting, I'm scouting. I'm bringing my units forward. I'm just trying to get a lot of archers here. I'm still adding to the Dome of the Faith. My research speeds are being reduced pretty heavily here. I'm checking to see if they're on food on the left. I decide with the deli units can wall. It's actually, there's a lot of ways you can use the wall to your advantage. So I'm going to wall from here to here and here to here to basically cut off this entire right side from Norseland. They can't get over here once I set up these walls. And that's something as a deli player you should always remember. With your infantry's ability to wall, if you can wall up just to delay your opponent and you have the wood for it, it can be very annoying and very effective at just making it difficult for them to even like go places. Some of the best deli players I've seen play will just do some insane wall setups just to really frustrate their opponent. So now I rallied. And at this point, Sanctity is just finished. I'm popping scholars out. And I'm going to take each sacred site. I'm not going to take the middle one because the tower's right there. And I'm afraid that he'll pop my scholar. So I popped out 2 scholars to immediately take the sacred sites on the left and the right, knowing that he probably can't stop both of them at the same time. Boom. I'm building a ram. I'm making units consistently. You notice I'm spending down my resources. Also, I pulled off, once I got like 3, 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 scholars. At this point with 6 scholars, I pulled off a gold and went purely on food. Because I have 6 scholars. I don't really need any more than that. I have 1 in each production building. So now my archers, 8 seconds per archer, 8 seconds per spearman. I still have 2 in the Dome in the Face. I'm getting plenty of research. And once I get these sacred sites, I'll run my scholars back and pop them back in the Dome of the Faith for all the techs I'm still working on. I drop a ram. And once again, in my mind, I'm like, if I can just get them off this gold, there's no age up. If I can get them off this gold, then I can rush castle. So I finish the wall on this side. I know this safe. I immediately go on to, since I've like barricaded this right side, that means the food on this side's the safest. So I go on the berries on this side. I also could go on the deer on this side and the deer over here. This is all really, really safe with this wall up right here. I send the ram forward, and this is where my lack of scouting kind of endangers me here. I'm pushing the tower. They're off gold. They run away. I'm like, where are their units? Are they aging up? What's going on? And as this push is happening, boom, here they come. They have done the same thing. So they thought I was rushing castle, I think. So if I was, this actually been pretty tough. 6 spearmen is nothing to sneeze at from Lord of the Dragon. Though with getting the sacred sites, I could have probably rushed castle with just sacred site gold at this point. But yeah, I'm just going to rally all my next units right next to my TC. But I also see I've pushed them off gold. I'm going to wall up the center sacred site here. I thought about being cheeky, and I think I could have walled from here to here and cut off this gold as well. But I wanted to get back to stop this ram push. And this is why I decided I'm rushing castle. I have 3 sacred sites. I have a bunch of scholars to grab relics. I don't need to force the issue. I don't need to try to dive their base or anything. And if I kill these spearmen, that's their main attack force. So I'm going to move my villagers away so they don't get hit by spearmen. I see that I clicked on it. I saw it was spearmen, so I'm not worried about, you know, an archer clown car. So I'm just going to pull my units back and kill this ram. I see now you're making men-at-arms. With men-at-arms in feudal, I just need a whole lot of archers and gazis. So I drop a stable, I start making gazis. Look how chunky these spearmen are. My god. My bad, Ghazi. Before spearmen, I pull some villagers to force the spearmen out. Boom, spearmen dead. Honestly, not a great investment by them. Did slow me down a little bit, but I also forgot I left my units back here. But anyway, now that this threat's done, I'm going to pull these villagers and put them on the berries up here, trying to make sure I'm not caught on one food resource and die. I make a few more units because I saw the men-at-arms, and Order of the Dragon men-at-arms kind of scare me, but I also see it's 5 men-at-arms and 2 spearmen, and my mass is big enough to take that fight. I then send 2 archers to the left side to wall the opposite side to protect this sacred site, and notice I'm pre-setting up my scholars. So I have 1 scholar here. Look, and notice how fast the age up hit. The second I decided I wanted to age up, I just stopped making units, and since I'm on 2 different berry patches and I have sacred site gold, it's just so much food. They have to back up because that's a lot of archers. And with all of these scholars that I have, I'm going to start my age up with my food vills, because I'm getting free gold from sacred sites. I see this fight being taken, and that's a lot of units, and I'm aging up, so I'm just going to walk away. And I preset my scholars, so I popped all my scholars out of Dome of the Faith. I have 1 going to each of the 3 relics over here, and I have 1 going to this relic. So I'm going to grab 4 relics basically at the jump. The second I hit castle, I'm getting 4 relics. And with all of these scholars that I have, I can immediately garrison them all. Once I drop off the relics, I can put them all in production buildings, and my production is going to be insane. I age up, so to this point, I don't really need to take this fight. So I see it, and I realize it's actually going okay for me, but I could have just run away. Because now I am producing crossbows, men-at-arms, and knights. I'm going basically pure gold comp because I'm getting so much free gold. Notice my scholars are in there doing work, but I'm bringing back all of the relics. He ends up winning the fight, but I delayed him, which was key because I got 4 relics right from the rip. Gonna drop those off, and I'm gonna hop into my production buildings. I get all my... Oh, I forgot these. But I'm gonna immediately queue up all of my next level upgrades. And the reason I was House of Learning here is because since I'm kind of doing this castle push and my tech's gonna research so fast because I have so many scholars, I'm actually gonna try to match the Order of the Dragon unit strength by getting all of these special techs here, which is gonna help my eco, it's gonna help my men-at-arms and lancers. It's gonna give me a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, if I thought I needed to do so here's the thing. If I thought I needed to do a sacred site victory, I need to be defensive, I would have done compounded defender and just drop keeps and then keeps on sacred sites. But I feel like I was in a good position. They're kind of stuck in age 2, I'm in age 3. I want to just do this big push and win. So if that's the case, doing House of Learning makes sense to me so I can get my upgrades. And so even the push doesn't go great, I'm going to get a lot of nice upgrades out of them. So I start with Home Blades and the villager carrying capacity first, because those are huge eco boosts. I see they're building a ram to kill the outpost, which is just time consuming, so I'm just massing up my initial gold units. I start adding farms back here, and basically once I hit castle, I just start rallying to wood, because this deli, this transition from berries on to farms can be killer. And I know I still have a lot of food on the map, but I'm going to start soft adding farms, just so I don't run out of food all of a sudden, which can really kill a push. I see that they're once again on the gold down here, so I'm just going to push down the middle. I forgot to cat the sacred site, which is my bad. And I just take this fight, and it's not going to go great for them. At this point, I have 4 scholars and 4 production buildings. I'm adding more production, and I'm just going to be able to keep producing and pushing. And Norseland's not going to be able to get the castle, so it's just game over. But that's an example of the Delhi Dark Age opening and thinking through the reactions after. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. If you're interested in getting some coaching or just trying to find a place you can ask questions and get better at AoE4, check out my coaching Discord, link in the description below. Follow me on Twitch, link to that is in the description below as well. And good luck on your games. Ciao.